Welcome to Outlaw Wheels. They're coming, so be ready. Outlaw Wheels, welcome to Dragstalgia. We're here, what's your name?
Ian Turberville.
Ian Turberville. Can you tell me about your drags and how you got into drag racing and cars and whatever?
Sure. As a kid in the 60s, I was into American comics because they were a bit more exciting than English comics. But one day I went in to buy my comic and I saw Hot Rod magazine. And it was this big chrome hot rod on the front in full colour with girls in bikinis, and I thought, what's this all about?
Yeah.
This looks fantastic. So I got into it, bought the magazine, heard that they were starting drag racing at a place called Santa Pod in England. So I made my mum bring me at 12 years old in 1968, and I've been coming ever since. Then we decided, enough's enough watching, we've got to do it. This looks like fun. So you can start off at a low level, you can start off in a streetcar or on a street motorbike and work your way up.
So you decided to have a go, like,
there's a class for everybody, so anybody can do it. We ended up, my daughter now, Laura, she races, she's been racing since she was 14. She races in a 170-mile-an-hour Super Pro dragster, and she actually raced this one as well. Now this is a 1965 vintage dragster. This is the way they were back in the day. The engine was in front of the driver. In the end, they decided that was a bit sketchy and a bit dangerous, so they decided to put the engine behind the driver to make it safe. But these are more fun and they're much more elegant and just nicer looking.
Does it still run this? Do you still drive this on track, or is it just a show now?
We did race it for many years with a big block 9.5 litre Chevrolet in it. But now this has probably England's most famous drag race engine in it. It belonged to a guy called Dennis Priddle,
I've heard of Dennis Priddle,
He set the world record in 1972, and it stood for 20 years. And this is the engine out of his car, Mr. Revell. I found it, so we put it in this car, and we run it on a full load of nitromethane, and we do what we call cackling. It's for the crowd. We don't run it down the track anymore. We just start it up, make lots of noise, lots of flames.
So the public know what it sounds like,
and the public can get up close and get the whole experience. And we wear all the period race gear and everything. And
how did you learn about the engines and that? Was you a mechanic or an engineer?
No, I'm not a mechanic at all. I'm an embroiderer.
So you learned out of books or off other people? It was just an interest?
You'd learn by doing it.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a kid, you take your scooter apart, put it back together, it doesn't work, you take it apart again, and you just learn by doing it. Well, but in drag racing, everybody helps. If you need advice, anybody will help you.
It's a friendly, isn't it? Very strong. Yeah. Okay, thanks for your time. It's really lovely.
No
what
problem.
a lovely dragster.
Sorry, I don't know why that's funny.
I don't either, but that's... You must have something.
Yeah, you don't often find...
Cleaning windows?
Yeah, anything else? You get a chunk of quid out in a minute as a tip. Well, Jason, yeah, he knew what he did. A bit too far. He's going to stage it up. He's not qualified at the moment. He needs this run.
Colin Miller. Can you tell us about your lovely pot?
Yes, of course I can. Built in 2005, so it's actually, the chassis is actually 18 years old now, so it's getting old. But everything else has been replaced one time or two times or three times. So running a Shafarov engine, 632 cubic inch, running on nitrous, base power about 1250 horsepower, and we put another 800 horsepower nitrous down its throat, so about just over 2000 horsepower, 2-speed power glide, a very tough rear end on it. Obviously today, or this year, was the challenge of getting 200 mile an hour. We're not there yet, 196.41, so we need to just push the boundaries. Obviously last year we were trying to get a 6, so we got the 6. So car's really running consistent. Happy with the car this weekend. This next run will be a non-gas pass, so hope for about a 7.98, and then we'll step the car up as we go on.
Wow. That's a roller coaster ride, isn't it?
It is a roller coaster. It's an animal. When you put the gas on it, it's just an animal.
Yeah.
So it's a beast.
Have you always been into cars and V8s since you was a young child? Yeah.
I started to come here in '83.
83, yeah.
83, and then
You always had full pots?
no, not necessarily. But my first car I ever bought was a Ford Pop.
Right.
So I've had lots of. I still got hot rods. But we used to have a club in Fife, and we used to race each other to Santa and then race each other all weekend, and then race each other home.
Right.
So that bit's changed, but we no longer race each other up down the road. We just race each other here. So
Wow.
I'm still in the hot rods. I've still got 2 hot rods as well. So
Was you a mechanic? Was you an engineer?
No. I got a good foundation in a paper mill, an apprenticeship in a paper mill. It's great. You get all the skills.
Brilliant. Well, I wish you luck this year, I really do.
Thank you very much.
Thanks ever so much for talking to us. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Who did. And if you're out there watching, a little bit actually in the grandstands watching for a change instead of watching at home on the internet, but wherever you are, thank you so much for the entertainment.
Oh, yeah,
Really.
congrats on the new class record as well.
So, what's your name?
John Hale.
John Hill. What can you tell us about this car, this funny car?
This is a Outlaw funny car that we're running here today. I'm a Nostalgia Nitro funny car driver from the U.S. and my friend Rob Elsom here is the owner of the car. And we're getting it ready to make a test lap today. I don't know if we'll be able to make one. There was some kind of on-track issue earlier that delayed things. But we'll be making a couple runs tomorrow for sure.
What times do you think you'll be doing?
I don't have a schedule. I can't answer that.
Right, okay. Is it going so far good, or have you got the...
When we got here yesterday, we found some issues, so the crew took the motor out of the car and went through the short block and redid the cylinder heads today. So they're just buttoning it back up. We haven't test fired it yet.
Is it better running in the heat, or is it better if it's a bit cooler, do you think?
About somewhere in between is a happy medium for the car. This is good weather for drag racing right here. There's a little bit of a headwind, but I don't think it's an issue. It's good weather.
Are you over from the US then?
Yes.
You're over from the US?
Yeah.
Is it, obviously it's different in the US, there's a lot more going on, or does this compare okay with out there?
The drag racing is more widespread in the US. I think, here in the UK, you just have this racetrack here, which is a great facility.
Yeah.
But we just have a whole lot more options there in the US.
Yeah. And a lot more money. A lot more sponsors, or not?
Well, it takes everything you have, no matter what your hobby is, But for sure.
Okay.
John, can I ask, how do you transport the vehicles here?
How do I what?
How do you bring the car over?
The car doesn't come from the U.S. It stays here in Nottingham at Rob's, but we are planning on looking at the end of the year, taking it from here to the U.S. and keeping it there, because there is more places to race it.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
That's brilliant. Cheers, John.
Cheers.
Appreciate it. Outlaw wheels. Can you tell us about your Morris?
Yeah, sure. It's a 1947 Morris Z van, which I bought part built from a guy called Mel Garrard, who'd done quite a lot of work. Was an old hot rod. He'd done a lot of work turning it into a gasser, but never quite finished it. Had a 302 Ford V8 in it, with an automatic gearbox and a Mustang rear axle. It's now got a 347 cubic inch small block Ford and C4 9-inch rear axle. Yeah, best run to date was 9.9013 to be precise. I remember that number very well, and about 136 miles an hour.
Oh, that's really
and it's a blast. So I've been racing it in the Gasser Circus for 12 years now, and just evolving it over the time. Been lucky enough to win the championship 3 times, so really pleased about that. Yeah. And the class is getting bigger now, and there's some young guys coming through, and they're really on top of the game. So us older boys, you know, struggling a bit in a way, but it's great fun to be part of. And yeah, I really love this car. I've got a couple of other cars that I drive. Background noise, sorry, from time to time, and I like those, but I really feel at home with this. Yeah, it's great fun, wheels up launch.
Yeah, we've actually seen it a few do's. It takes right off, and it's really good.
But when you're sat in the car, you don't. It's like driving a Rolls Royce. People don't believe me, but it goes so nicely, and it's on leaf springs. It's on Morris 1000 leaf springs on the back. It shouldn't work as well as it does, but it does. So I'm going to leave well alone and just keep enjoying it.
And the colour, is that your scheme or is that?
Well, it was green and black, and they were green and black originally. They're the precursor to the Morris 1000 van that the post office used. And after the Second World War, they used to have rubber wings. Obviously, they perished. So these are off a Morris Series E saloon car, but period correct, if you like, to the body shell. And green and black was the colour that they used, and I kind of liked it. I was trying to think of something a bit fancier, and I thought, no, let the sign writing do all the talking. So I got Neil Melliard did all the sign writing on it, and it's all in gold leaf and whatnot.
And we like the roof. The roof's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's the second vinyl roof I've had on it. The first one wasn't fitted quite so well, and it came off at 135 miles an hour on a run. So yeah, everything went quite light all of a sudden, and I wondered what had gone wrong there. But yeah, this one so far standing up much better to the abuse it gets. Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. How did you get into drag racing and cars, hot rods and all that sort of thing?
I was born into it. I had uncles that actually started the drag racing scene over in Australia, Joe and Vyncke, back in the year I was born, 64. So yeah, it was just a progression. I always loved cars and bikes. So
Was there a lot of hot rods in Australia?
yeah, it's always So it's more like America than here, the hot rod scene. But yeah, it's massive.
And you can get all the parts and that.
Yeah, we've got some great suppliers, and we've got a lot of cars racing. So there's always Yeah.
And what, did you start off in a small class and then build your way up?
Like anyone, the first trip I did was on an old 68 Triumph Trophy. 650 with a 750 bodybuild top end on it at Castlereagh, and I think 1980 as a 16-year-old. And then just progressed to sedans. We had a Capri with a small block Chevy in it, 388 cube.
Yeah, we've got Capris here in England.
Yeah. And that was that was a good fun car.
Yeah.
Just a wheel stand and carry on like a good sort. And then I bought we bought an altered in from America, an injected big block. Run that for 5, 6 years. And then we just stepped up to a blown deal with a big block Chev. 1471 Helix on a big block, and had a bit of fun with that for a while. And then we had a big crash up at Willowbank in Queensland, 2010. Really, we rode that car off, and then just started piecing another one. And John, that owns the Angler, John Willard, we built a 33 Dodge, which most people around the world know. Similar to like a Topolino sort of style body, like a body, but it's a 33 Dodge. We won a championship in that 2 or 3 years ago now. And then progressed to this one. This is actually a Pluger. This was the ex-Party Time car out of America, which I think Dennis Young and John Fleming used to campaign over there. It had the koala on the side. And so I'd done a deal with a friend of mine, Greg Smith. Greg Lay bought it into the country, and I bought it actually for a friend of mine. Helped do a deal, and he retired 3 years ago now. And at the time, I'd sold the 33 Dodge, but I still had the Hemi sitting on a stand in the workshop. I wasn't planning on coming back, but
you did come back.
This came up, and I knew it was the car. It was it's a beautiful car as far as the chassis, like it's a Pluger. One of the later Pluger. He's gone now, Steve, but one of Pluger's cars. So it's good enough for John Force and Graham Cowan.
Yeah, it's good enough.
Pluger chassis, good enough for me.
What CC's that engine?
That's 526.
526.
Yeah, the 1471 Helix bar, buzzard hat, pretty standard sort of stuff.
What time would that do?
This car's got 612 at 224.
Oh,
right. That was with a Chev in it.
With
so
the
we haven't really got to the bottom of this one yet. So
no.
this should be making more power
than
the Chev did. But it's all right to have the power. You've got to get it on the track.
Yeah, you've got to put it down.
We were shaking pretty hard yesterday, the day before. We've had our issues this weekend, but we've had an absolute ball.
Good. I'm glad everyone's welcome to it. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Really, really.
The trouble is, I only bought one liver with me.
Have you had the other one out?
I didn't bring the spare.
The drinking, you've had a good time drinking.
But it's all right. We're heading to Scotland now, so apparently they don't drink much up there.
They drink more.
That's us. We've had a great trip.
Right. Okay, thanks for your time. I really appreciate that.
No worries at all.
Lovely to come to England. It's really nice of you.
They're talking already about trying to get back next year if we can. That'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for your time.
Dave Billadou and Gary Carr in round one. That's going to be a good one. I look forward to that.
Yeah, so Laura Levy from France with the Comet, second qualifying run, carrying number 14 against Patrick Hawks.
Outlaw Wheels, welcome. What is your name?
Tim Ball.
Tim Ball. Can you tell me about your lovely car you've got here?
It's a 1960 Ford Thames 300e with a 330 cubic inch modular V8 in it, which is double overhead cam, 4-valve cylinder, fuel injected, and we've got nitrous oxide on it, just 150 shot at the moment, and it's connected to a Lenco ST1200 transmission. Back axle is a bit of an oddball. It's an M86.
Right, M86.
We took over by Dana's because it's all Australian running gear. Yeah.
What sort of times you do with that? I did see you earlier, but I've seen so many today. I've lost.
Yeah. Quickest was the last run to date was a 987, and the quickest terminal it runs 141. So that wasn't in the same run.
No.
It was 139 today, I think.
Have you always been into drag racing?
Yes.
and hot rods and stuff
Yes.
like. Everyone here seems to be.
Yeah.
What brilliant thing was it? The magazines got you into it,
No,
or the?
my father. He was the first person to ever put a time running at Santa Body in 1966 when I opened.
Wow.
We used to meet him.
And what was his name?
Harold Bull.
Harold Ball.
King Harold.
That's
And his
brilliant.
dragsters in the tent down the bottom. Replica strip duster.
Right, we have to have a look at that.
So,
Is this a progression thing, or do you think you've come as far as you can with it?
no,
or?
we're still progressing. We're still getting quicker and quicker. I'm gradually changing things because it's now got centrifugal clutch in it and stuff like that, so I'm having to get underneath.
Yeah.
We've adjusted the clutch 3 times this weekend. It's slipping too much. But hopefully it'll look up a bit harder next run. I'll put more counterweight on the
Yeah.
clutch and some more clamp force. So.
Is it still running on bum gas? I take it is, yeah?
Yep, still runs on super unleaded.
Super unleaded.
Yeah.
Do you drive it in the week, or
Yeah.
weekends or whatever? Yeah.
Not so much on the road now, but it is. We've done 10,000 mile in it total. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
It's getting harder and harder to drive on the road.
Yeah, it's getting more powerful and powerful, yeah.
Not so much more powerful, we're making use of the power now.
Right.
Because we've actually gone back to 150 shot of gas this meeting, whereas we've got up to 200. But I've changed things like now it's got open headers on it rather than full street system we were running 990s.
Yeah.
So.
What made you choose that 100E before we go? Because it's an unbelievable little van, isn't it? It's a lovely little thing.
Somebody give me a 100E car, prefect, in 1980 or something, and I built that with a small block Chevy in it, right on the ground, sort of pro street car, and sort of progressed from there. Had a rest when we had kids, and just left. Now got back, always wanted a van, managed to find a van, so this time round we built a van.
Okay, we're going to move on. Thanks ever so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Really do. Outlaw Wheels. What's your name, John?
John Willard.
John Willard.
Yeah.
What was it like in Australia growing up with drag racing, hot rods? How did you get into it?
I didn't actually grow up around hot rodding or drag racing. My old man wasn't into it. Pretty much the day I got a driver's license, I was straight out there just looking at magazines and things. I just wanted to get out to the drag strip, and as they say, you're hooked.
You got hooked into the speed and the power.
Absolutely.
What was your first car?
My first car was just a locally built, like old 1970 Ford Fairlane, but it wasn't long before I got into the Anglias. Like the first meeting I went to Castlereagh at, there was a couple of Anglias running there, and it was that early. I was probably 18 years old, and I've had Anglias ever since. This is my third Anglia.
It's your third Angular.
Yeah.
And what sort of engine's in this?
It's a Brad Anderson Supercharged Hemi, 450 cubes.
And what sort of power would that make?
I'd say, a little bit over 2,000, I guess.
2,000. Wow.
Had a guess.
And what sort of times? I know every track's different, but
we've ran a little bit faster in Australia than we have here, but that's only because we were saving the car up for Dragstalgia, and unfortunately we had some engine damage, so we didn't get a chance to do it. But we have ran 667 and 208.
That's a buzz, yeah? You still get a buzz out of it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Every run's a buzz, yeah?
You don't get much better rush than this.
Yeah. And what about all the parts? As your friend said, you get all the parts in Australia?
Oh,
easy?
yeah, parts are no problem.
Yeah.
If we had the parts here, we could have had it fixed.
Right, so there's a lot more parts in Australia than England, yeah?
We've got to import them from America as well, same as everybody else, so same thing.
Yeah. And where you racing next in Australia, do you know? Or?
Oh, it'll be in Sydney at our local track.
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.
No
Thanks
worries.
ever so much. Thank
Okay.
you.
Is that
Thanks
all
ever
right
so
or what?
much.
Lee Taylor.
Lee Taylor. Can you tell me about your car, Lee?
Yeah, it's a 1954 Ford Popular. Well, it was. It was a steel bodied car, like the car over there. Cut it in half, made it into a pickup basically. Built the rear bed. It's a Colin Miller front and doors, which I've altered. Rob Chilton made the chassis. I mounted everything on it, all the bracketry and everything else. Andrew Chilton. It's got a 489 big block Chevy, bogger and a plate on it, system nitrous. I've only just run it this weekend. I've had 2 runs in it. I run a 987, I think it was, 139 first run.
That's brilliant.
And then a 10.0 the next one, but I short shifted it. So we're just changing all the springs here. We've got John Willard over from Australia here. He's like a chassis guru. He's built a 6 seconds Outlaw, is he? So he's just tuning the suspension for me. The springs I had on it were too stiff. So I don't know if you might get one of the videos. I'll send you a video. It launches, it bounces. When they're too stiff, the springs. We sold some new 95-pound springs from the rear. So now when it launches, it should, in theory, it should squat and drive out of the wheelie, if you like. So we're just in the middle of setting that up at the moment.
What made you get into this? Is it thrill? Just
No, my dad has got Banshee. I don't know Banshee. Yeah, so he's raced for, I mean, I'm 45 now, and I've come here since I'm 2, I think. So I've been around it for 43 years. So then I race. My brother over there, he's got a car. And Freddie, my son there, he races in Junior Dragster. So
it's a whole family then?
Yeah, we've got 4 cars between us at the moment. So
it's a full-time thing you're into, really?
We're here most weekends throughout the summer, whether it's the Junior Dragster or our cars. Yeah.
Are you into engineers or you just learnt yourself?
No, I learned all self-taught. I mean, I'm a paint and decorator's trade, but I sprayed this car. I've done a load of fabrication on it. And just learn as you go. I pick things up. And
what times do you hope to get out of it?
Well, I'm hoping to run a mid-8. Ideally, I've got the nitrous, which I haven't turned on yet, which will come on maybe tomorrow. I want to make sure it's running right and doing what it's meant to do, and then I'll put the nitrous on probably last qualifier tomorrow. That's the plan anyway. So,
all right then, thanks for your time.
No
really
problem, I look
appreciate
forward
it.
to watching it. Cheers, thank you. Yeah, go for it, yeah.